Hello everyone, Eire here, and I am covering the speed paint I promised forever ago. I'm actually finally posting this because I don't know, I'm just lazy. Now, I'm walking you through the process here of how I did this content warning sprite, specifically for my content warning video. I wanted to do a set of sprites for the Left 4 Dead 2 video, the content warning video, and just a couple other different ideas for artworks. And I wanted to base them off the games. I wanted to change up the sprite and make it interesting. I wanted to make something fresh, even though you've seen the sprite maybe one or two times tops. I wanted to do something special for content warning, and that was turning my sprite of myself into, well, a sprite that's wearing the Kill Streamer's equipment. The Kill Streamer is an enemy that hosts a massive taser, an oxygen tank on his back, and a variety of other tools, including an arm-mounted camera. Now, I couldn't incorporate all of these for very obvious reasons, like what's the point of having the taser there? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, even though in that video I did use the taser a lot, and I really should have added that. Point is, some things didn't add up, like, for example, the taser or a variety of other things. When it comes to making sprites, typically what I'll do is I actually have my base sprite around, because most sprites are typically made this way, where you don't do it from the ground up every single time. You take elements from previous ones and you either trace over them, copy them, or, I mean, if you really did want to start from the ground up, you'd use your original sprite as a reference image. Me personally, I prefer the tracing method, just starting out, because the body shapes should stay fairly the same. I increased the size of the boots, I gave the belt and, like, pants a bit more detail with the pockets and such. The hoodie, I wanted to keep the hoodie, because I feel like it's a very simplistic, yet, like, nice-looking design to put on there, but I also want to add straps for the oxygen tank to, use and rest on. So I was having a lot of trouble with the shirt at the time. The oxygen tank specifically, I did have some trouble with, mainly because of its size and how it didn't make sense. And you can see I'm drawing stuff that's actually hidden behind the character itself, like the whole, like, arm to the screen. I actually had, like, a whole setup for that just as a quick test run. Overall, I'm talking really fast here, I'm sorry. When it comes to making this sprite, looking back on it, I'm not happy with this sprite. I'll admit, I like it, okay? I do like it, but I need to take more art lessons. That much is, like, 100% true. Because there's aspects of this design I wanted to show off more, like the oxygen tank, or there's some things I wanted to change up, like the straps to the oxygen tank in general, or the boots having a bit of a wonky perspective. I'm still learning these things, and this was made, like, I don't know, maybe a month or two ago. So, guaranteed, my next sprite or my next artwork is going to look a lot different. I did end up actually making the camera, but in the same style as the cameras from Content Warning that have kind of the handle on top where your hand, like, goes in, kind of like a finger strap, really, but also that pop-out window so you kind of see what's up there. I really love that style of camera, and I thought it was a great one. It's very, like, it's a very basic, like, video camera, and I love it. I think when it came to this drawing, when I boil it down, the most trouble I had with it involved perspective, but it also involved, like, what elements did I need to change from my old drawing and my new one. And, for example, like, I have to position the hair the exact same, which is not a problem, but, like, redrawing the eyes, and, like, something seemed off about the eyes, I had to go back and fix that. Something seemed off about the whole jacket, the oxygen tank is the big one. I mean, I mention it a lot, but, that was the big one, that was the big problem. Overall, I will say, drawing sprites is kind of hard for me to do, because I'm just starting out. I only have one to work with. I don't have, like, a blink or a talk or a mouth closed or whatever, because I'm just, like, I haven't made them yet. I really haven't. I should do that at some point, and that would speed up a lot of things, because they're pretty easy to make. But it's just starting out and making a custom sprite that's, like, really the hard part. I did like, I kinda liked my sketch for this one, I'll admit. It was a decent sketch. Especially considering that typically the way that I sketch things out is I sketch things using, like, paper and pencil first, and I kind of transfer it over into the software I'm using, first like with a pencil layer, and then with a line art layer, then a color layer, and all that stuff. Typically I start out with pencil sketches, and this is one of the few times where I just didn't do a pencil sketch of anything. Actually, I'm pretty sure all my speed paints have not had a proper pencil sketch for them, which I'll admit is impressive by my standards, but also it's like, man, I could have taken more time on this. I had so much free time to work with. Yeah, you could see the eyes a little bit wonky there. That was the big problem. A big problem, man. The boots, honestly, I did like the idea, because when it comes to character design, I'm kind of a, like, you know that joke that's been rolling around the internet for a while? It's like, oh yeah, is your guy like a big jacket or a big pants guy? And then like there's also like the big shoe or the big hat. You know, I like some dumb stuff like that. I'll admit big jacket and big shoes are the ones I use the most often, because big pants isn't all that interesting. It really isn't. It's kind of hard to pull off sometimes. It's really hard to make it look good is what I mean, you know? You could see there, like, I started having troubles with the boots, but around with, like, the pants and the pocket situation, I was like, I started having trouble, and then I was just like, alright, let me just redo this and figure this out, because this is clearly not it. Wow, I'm going a mile a minute here, I'm sorry. When it comes to these art videos, I do enjoy, like, making these, but it takes, like, a long time to make a speed paint. It takes multiple days. Not to draw it, like, it doesn't take, like, me, like, entire days. Like, I have to go, like, you know, like, 3 days straight on this, right? I usually only have about enough time to draw for maybe an hour or two a day. And that's really not much, considering I want to draw a lot more. So it's kind of sad, because this probably took the course over, like, 3 days, but, like, I was only doing that in, like, 1 to 2 hour intervals. And I have everything sped up to 16 times, because a speed paint is not going to be speedy if I run it full time. That is literally just a real-time paint. That's not exactly as interesting, especially when I don't have much to talk about. It just really isn't. Ooh, man. Overall, when it comes to this stuff, just there's a lot for me to consider, and it becomes kind of a weird thing for me, you know? Especially, like, when it comes to drawing. Like, for example, like, doing that whole circle thing where I shape things out. Drawing the hood and the oxygen tank was actually, like, terrible. Oh, wow. I know I'm, like, being hard on myself with this, but, like, after taking some lessons, and after, like, waiting a month on this to view back, like, the footage and stuff, I'll admit, this was, like, one of my, at the time, I was happy with it. I'm happy with it color-wise and character design-wise, but not so much in, like, the actual, like, practical art category, you know? Like, does it even count? You know, that sort of idea. I don't mess with it that much, and that's why in the content warning video, I kind of, like, yeah, I moved the sprite to a location that made sense, but it also, like, hid the boots, you know? Like, you couldn't see them. Also, I'll admit that filling things in using the select tool kind of sucks. It really does. I'm just not a big fan of it, I guess. I prefer filling in, just, you know, actually coloring it in physically, but the select tool makes it both easier and also equally as hard, and I have to be very detailed with the select tool, and it takes a lot of time to set that up for what amounts to, like, oh yeah, here's a dash of color, you know? And it's like, man, I could do better if I, like, you know, put in more effort, or if I learned a bit more, or if anything, you know, that's always the case. If anything happens, I would do better. That's what happens sometimes. I will say that while I was making it, I did have a lot of fun, especially when pulling in elements from the kill streamer, because it was just a neat thing. It was like a little thing that I just thought was like, man, that's nice. I'm glad I'm doing this. I like designing the little badge to, like, the clip to hold together the straps for the oxygen tank. I thought it was cool that I could make it Saturn. I liked designing some of the camera, like, you know, recoloring it and making it work more. Especially the lens. I actually felt like the lens is, like, one of the places that I cared the most about, oddly enough. And it's a detail that nobody would ever really look at. So if I treated everything like the camera lens, that, like, there's a chance there, you know? I really also did like the way that I was doing the eyes, where it was, like, kind of just going around and fixing things up and coloring them in just the right way, adding the correct lighting and such. I felt confident about that. I felt confident about the arm and the tablet, especially the face on it. That's actually the face I use in game. I take an a lowercase I and I flip it upside down to create kind of like a crying face. You could do it the other way, where it's like two dots and then the tear streaks, but, like, I prefer that, where it's like two drops and like a longer, bigger eye. You know, that's just more my style when it comes to that. Let's see. I also I also drew in, like, the color for the eye really well. The freckles it's always the freckles that take absolutely forever, because I just can't seem to remember or get it right as to what they're supposed to be. I have so much trouble with this, and it's like, it really shouldn't be a problem, because I've done it once, I could do it again, that sort of idea. But man, like, I'm just glad to get it done at certain points in time. Also, the shading parts, right? I just suck at this, okay? I was kind of just going off the deep end when it came to shading here. Like, some of it made sense, like, oh yeah, you know, some of the hand areas, the mouth, parts of the eyes, the hair kind of made some sense. I think maybe it's just the face that didn't make any sense to me. That just didn't work out really well. I was actually doing decent on the hair, surprisingly enough. It's just very chunky, and it's not as smooth as I'd like it to be, and that's something I've got to work on in the future. When it came to, like, some of my previous artworks, my digital, like, art that I've done before, I'm actually kind of inspired by, like, the 3DS and DS art styles, especially for, like, 3D characters that have, like, a thick black outline, you know? Or, like, thicker, like, weird colored outlines for some reason. I don't know why, but it was always appealing to me. I'm just not sure. You know, I get over it. I am getting over it, I should say. The straps, honestly, in some parts, did not need shading at all. Ports. I'm still laughing. But yeah, I think overall with this piece, at first I was happy. I really was happy. But I think I was more happy to have it done than I was happy to actually, like, see it, you know? Like, I didn't think it looked great, and especially now, I just don't think it looks great at all. It looks kind of, not bad, but very, okay, yeah, I'll say it. It does look bad, you know? I'll admit that. I could do better. I really could. I just, oh, man. Oh, what a mess. Still, I'll admit, drawing a special sprite for a video like Content Warning that effectively made that video take longer to upload, but I felt like it added so much more charm to the video. It felt nice to do that. And I wish I could do it again, and I think I could. I really think I could. It's just going to take a lot of time in order for me to do it. I may have to delay uploads or, like, pre-schedule uploads ahead of time before I can actually do, like, another sprite. But in the meantime, I'm going to hold off on the artwork just for a little bit before I get back into it. I'm going to take those lessons, I'm going to take what I learn and apply it to whatever comes next. Again, back on that camera lens, I gotta say, man, that's it. But, yeah. I overall, I just gotta hold off for a little bit, and I'll be back eventually to, well, I'll be back art-wise, eventually. I actually did like adding the glitch effect. That's something I put in, like the programming, like, sort of glitch effect. You don't really see that, but I did like adding that sort of texture. I'm Eire, and this has been the speed paint for my Content Warning sprite. I hope you all enjoyed at least the shorter video every once in a while. I'll see you all around next time, okay? Bye.